Beloved Kenyans, good evening and welcome to our TV talk show. With us this evening, we have our beloved Diaspora community, and as you can see in the room, we have our people from different backgrounds. Starting on my left, I have Bonake Rich. Bonake Rich is from the Nandi community. I have Bona Omweri from the Kisi community. Welcome very much. On my far right, I have Bona Wasame. Wasame, karibu sana, from Garissa community. And right here beside me, I have my personal friend, Mr. Carlton. Thank you very much, from USA. We are obliged to, and we're happy to have you in the room. So before I start off, I'd like to give the opportunity to our fellow Kenyans here, and my brother right beside me, to go ahead and give a little introduction of who they are, where they come from, and why they are with us here. So starting with my left, Bonake Rich, the floor is just, please go ahead and just say hello to our people. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm so happy to be here with you today. I'd like to also welcome our viewers back in Kenya. As we discuss about the situations that develop in Kenya, and as we go toward the election time, which is actually coming in a few days, we are going to be discussing a lot of things and give out opinions and our anticipation on situations as they are. So I hope you're going to have a lot of fun as we discuss this, and I hope you Kenyans are going to join us in getting to the best direction and getting the best leaders that we can push the development of our country forward.
Bonake Rich, thank you very much. For those who might know Rich, he's also known better than Bonadawa, and I'm sure as the show goes by, he's definitely going to be able to share with us some of his comedy tricks. Trust me, when I got in here a little bit earlier, he was able to pull up some tricks that I could not even, my ribs are just aching. But without wasting any time, I'll go to my brother on the other end. I can see, as we all admire being Kenyans, he has his African kitenge on. And this is Bona Omweri. Omweri has been very instrumental as far as putting this platform in place. He's actually one of our producers. And Bona Omweri, thank you very much for hosting us at your residence. We appreciate this. And it is our hope is that we get down into the nitty-gritty of issues as we get close to the elections. You're going to be able to discuss with us fundamentally on how we can definitely get Kenya to the next level. So Bona Omweri, the floor is yours. Please jitambulishe, salimia wa Kenya nyumbani, and I'm sure they are looking forward to hear from you about some specific policy issues that we're going to be discussing this evening. The floor is yours, please.
Viewers, thank you for having an opportunity to listen from us. We are not really perfect in our views, but we believe that whatever we'll actually bring forward is going to help us and bind us together. As my brother has told you, I come from Kisi County, and I'm really expecting a lot to be done down there. And I'm also a producer for Agape One Television International. We are here to assist each other. So with my friends here, whatever we'll be discussing is actually going to be instrumental in binding or in bringing the Kenyan community together. And it's not only the Kenyan community together, we've got one of our international friends here. We are a community, and the world has actually become a global village. Thank you. As we will proceed from here, we'll have more views from me and from my brothers. Thank you.
Bona Omweri, thank you very much. As the viewers, as you've had, it looks like we have people from all different backgrounds. Not being biased, but Bona Omweri is the founder and the principal and CEO of Agape. So we are looking forward to hear more about Agape. It is our hope that Agape will play an instrumental role as far as these coming elections are concerned. Now, on my extreme right, without wasting any time, I have a personal friend of mine, somebody who I share an office with. His name is Bonasiad Wasame. Bona Wasame has been passionate about Kenyan politics. He's actually supporting one of the principal governors back in Garissa County, if I'm not wrong. And Bona Wasame, without wasting any time, I don't want to go ahead and take the light out of the shadow right now. You're looking nice. well in shape. Please go ahead and identify yourself and tell us a little bit about this Garissa. We are all Kenyans here, but the last few days we've heard about that Garissa politics is being played from a clanism perspective. Please give us some little dynamics of what is all about this about the clan politics here. The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much, Bonameto, for hosting us, and thank you, my friend, for hosting us in this kind of forum. I'm really appreciate and humbled to be here today, this evening. And as we reach to the election back home, I think we will expect a lot of changes that will come on. I hope, first of all, take this opportunity that this election should be peaceful, and that's what we are all praying for. And as a diaspora who live in the United States, I'm a little bit sad that we did not participate to vote as other Kenyans who will be back there voting. We were hoping that the diaspora this time, their voice will be heard, but that unfortunately didn't happen. But with this new government coming, this new constitution coming, and I hope God will make a pledge, as we had the Vice President on and off in one of the forums that we were discussing. And one of the things that he promised was in 5 months' time that he will have signed the diaspora will participate and have a say in Kenya. And I'm glad on that, and I will take him accountable on those issues. As you hear Bonameto say that I come from Northeastern province, especially in Garissa County. A lot of people, when they hear Northeastern, one thing comes to their mind is marginalized people, and security also comes to second thing. And security is very important. As you've been aware, and people who've been reading newspapers, watching televisions, they know that there have been a lot of KDDF activity happening in Garissa market. There have been a lot of bombing here and there, killings of soldiers and all that kind of stuff. And these things are tough, my friend, and frustrate us, all of us. And as we go along this forum, I think those are the things, issues that I will address to my fellow Kenyans to understand how the security is a stake to us in this election, especially in the governance system with this new constitution. And it is a part of things which was been going on for the last 4 months. So I will address those issues in security, and I will say all Kenyans who are listening to this forum, welcome. Thank you.
Bonawasame, thank you very much. Our beloved Kenyans back home, as we know, with Kenyans we love those long introductions, so please bear with us. But without wasting any time, I'd like to let you know, guys, that our discussion here is going to be very interactive. We'll be having a lot of back and forth, so please bear with us. We'll try to do this the American style, where Bonawasame is going to be talking, and my friend here, Bonaki Rich, will be able to interject and throw in a question to him, because it is more of having a discussion. This is not just a forum that we're going to be able to sit back and listen to one person. No, it is a discussion. Like for those who are aware with how the American forum works, we've seen that on CNN, and I've seen that also on KTN. So without wasting any time, we'll go ahead and introduce my brother here. Mr. Carlston has been back to Africa. He's been in Kenya, and the reason that we have him in this particular platform is to go ahead and have a little complex identity with the people who we identify with, the people who we would like to go ahead and blend ourselves with. Now, Mr. Carlston he recently just came back from Africa, I think 2 to 3 days ago. Is that right?
Yep.
All right, very good. And I'm sure with what he saw there, and Africa being as a continent as a whole, we can always identify with our people back home. But the good thing and the unique thing about this gentleman is that he looks at things from the American perspective. And that is what I think we are trying to analyze. And I think Kenya is at that particular point right now that we're looking forward to go ahead and change our economy to be a 24-hour economy. If you want to be like in New York, you're going to have to behave like a New Yorker. If you want to be like America, you have to behave like an American to some extent. So, Mr. Carlton, the floor is yours. And please go ahead and give us some little sentiments of what you'd expect to see about Africa. Not just Kenya as a country, but Africa as a continent. What did you expect to see? Would you expect for you to go back in Kenya and not just be called a Mzungu, but you identify like one of us, like as America, it is all built out of immigrants. Please go ahead and give a little sentiments.
Yes, well, America, here in America, we hold dear democracy. It's very important to us, and after just having traveled to East Africa, I realized that democracy also is important to Africans. And I'd expect that in this upcoming election, the elections will be free and fair, and the Kenyans will be open and tolerant to one another in the common interest of democracy.
Thank you very much. So without wasting any time, we'll go ahead and hit on our topics. And this evening, we have the kind of opportunity to discuss about, for particularly maybe 3 or 4 topics. And for right now, we're going to be starting off with the issue of the nominations. As we saw 3 or 4 days ago, or 2 days ago, we just had the nominations, and they were marred with a lot of inconsistencies. The issue of some monkey business, as one of my friends, Wetangula, refers it to. And it seems like things are just not happening in the right way. I happen to have seen some buckets being used for nominations. Guys, we're living in a very different society. Do we feel like IBC should be able to handle this? Or do we still think this is an issue that should be handled from the political party perspective? So without wasting any time, I'll go ahead and ask my brother here, Brother Kirich, to give us some little sentiments on what is Kirich. Now, you come from the Nandi community here. Let's go ahead and look at this from a very realistic perspective. Nandi community, you're talking of URP. We know very well URP is the guy to go ahead and talk of in Nandi. But that is not the case in every other region. We look at, for example, in Eastern Community. I come from the lower Eastern Community part of the Machakos County. It is Wiper that is carrying the day there. Are you trying to tell me just because it's Wiper, and I have one of our Sami here who does not believe in the sentiments of Wiper? Is that how we're supposed to be carrying on business? I thought, if I'm not wrong, a nomination should be a business, should be undertaken in a free and a fair democratic society. What is your take?
Well, I can I can agree so much with former Speaker of National Assembly, Kaparo. He says the law about nomination and election law is a bad law. And I think everybody watches the other person. Why the elections failed, especially these nominations failed, was for the same reason that that prevailed in the last general election too. I think a nomination could actually be done 3 months in advance. But so unfortunate that everybody fears that if they do it early in advance, somebody will have time to go to the other party and campaign and do that kind of thing. In the first world, such things never happen. If you belong to the Democratic Party, you belong to the Democratic Party. I mean, and that's it. I mean, forever. Your people, wherever you come from, you're Democrat.
But
you don't have to...
I'm sorry to interject. That is not the case in Kenya, because what I experienced, for example, I will look at my friend Bonamutuzo, the guy in, is it Naivasha?
In Naivasha.
I think what happened in Naivasha is we saw the guy who was beat, he could not get the TNA ticket. So what did he do? He jumped over to NAC, to where Charity Nkino is. So are we talking about politicians who are jumping over on the other side because of they want to just be irrelevant? Or is it a matter of you identifying with the party ideologies, or are you just trying to survive politically?
So the unfortunate scenario is people actually don't actually believe in parties. I think they believe in themselves. They believe in something else. They don't believe in the ideologies, the manifestos of parties. I mean, and they don't even support the parties they purport to be members of. I mean, if you support a party, you support a party to the end. If you don't get a nomination, you keep supporting the party. But now it doesn't, like you have one leg out here, so if you don't get nominated, you think you can try your chance. I mean, you're luck somewhere else in another party. So that is what brings about the chaos. Of course, if you have 1,000 supporters and the other person has 3,000 supporters, and sometimes you might even get beaten with about 3 or 5 votes, sometimes you believe that you would have actually done something. It happens in the world. You remember this, the time when Al Gore got a popular vote here, but he did not win the electoral vote.
Yeah.
He got the majority vote. People voted for it, but still the Americans said the electoral college takes the day. But
Wow.
actually,
You know what? I'm in disbelief in this kind of discussion here. But a quick question to you. So, from what you experience, and I think we've been seeing this from the media houses, do you think the time has come for these politicians? And I'll give you a very good example here. We are having an issue right now with the Prime Minister's brother. What's his name? Oburu Odinga. And I think he came on TV and said, "Hey, you guys, are you trying to tell me it is a mistake for me to be the brother of the Prime Minister or to a presidential candidate?" But the issue here that we've been facing in Kenya is because my brother here, he bears the last name that I do, then that means that I'm entitled to a particular office. Well, Simon, don't you think the time has come for us to go ahead and step out from that cocoon and deal with the issues of merit? Because if that is the case, then we are looking at here dealing with more of a dynasty issue rather than a leadership issue. What does it take?
Thank you, Mr. Mehta, for posting that question to me. I think what Mr. Obure is trying to do is, I think he's trying to prove what the Miguna book, Peeling Back the Mask, what he was talking about, the kitchen cabinet and the family, close ties, family things that Mr. Miguna was trying to address. I think he's now giving Miguna's book more, light to what he was talking about. And it seems like he's trying to say that the ODM is like something that he's trying to make like the family business. That his brother is going for presidency. He can control the nomination. He can find his way throughout.
I can disagree with that.
Well, we'll get back to you. We'll get back to you in a few minutes here. But yeah, go ahead.
Some people will see that as a way of Mr. Oburu trying to penetrate the system because his brother is going for the presidency and the ODM is being controlled by his brother. I don't buy that as it is. I believe that he has a right to vie for the seat.
And
if he wins in independent democracy, I don't think that will be a big issue being him tied because of his brother. I don't believe that. But some people, our people back home will see, this is the Prime Minister's brother, and the ODM is a family tag, the way Miguna put it. And I kind of disagree with some people on that issue. But I think it is ideology and what their party stands for is what is good for the Kenyan people.
But Same, I think this guys, I'm sorry, this conversation is going to be getting hot here because it looks like we are having now an issue of idealists and an issue of ideology. Now, getting back here to Bwana and I'll close up this particular issue with my brother here, Mr. Carlson. Bwana, I think we just saw our government chief whip being whipped, but the same people who is advocating for Jakar Midiwo. Now, if I'm not wrong, and you guys, I'm bound to be corrected here, I think we witnessed Jakar Midiwo saying at some point that, hey, the elections are done, they were not done in the right way, we need to redo them again. But this still comes to the same issue, and I'm trying to relate our whole discussion here and tie it up into one particular note. Jakar Midiwo, as we all know, he has some relationship with the Prime Minister. Now, does it feel like Kenya has gotten to a point that this issue of a dynasty business is coming to an end, and the time has come for us to elect people based on their performance, credibility, and issue-driven elections? What does it take?
Oh, thank you, Mr. Metho, for asking me that question. Me, I'm a little bit different. I'm having a totally different view about this particular thing here. What I can actually tell Kenyans is that some of those shambolic elections actually were not conducted professionally. And if you can actually see that in some stations, we had just buckets actually, and the votes were being stuck into those baskets. Actually, the issue here is the credibility. I mean, these credibility issues we are really talking about here. Because if we're just stacking ballots in buckets, we really don't know what is really happening here. And you see, those people making a lot of noise, they were not in all those polling stations. Like one place, they thought that their candidate actually is the one who is winning. And they were making a lot of noise, not knowing that in all the other polling stations, how their candidate was actually faring there. So in one station, if probably in one clan they had like 10,000 or 6,000 votes and the other candidate was actually having 1,000, they really don't know from the other side that how many votes this gentleman got here. And the other thing here is, Jacoyomi Diwo is a good guy. He's a Kenyan, even if he's actually related to the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Raila Odinga. He's got all the rights also to be voted as a Kenyan or to get a position in the government. Same to Dr. Buru Odinga. If they are elected with credibility, I don't see any problem with that. Does it mean that if I'm a president or if I'm a prime minister, my brothers and sisters don't need to eat? No, they've got stomach. They've got kids actually also to take care of. So let them also go for this elective post. As long as they are voted with credible system, I don't see any problem.
Go ahead.
Because Mr. Amori has said something that I can actually, let me correct it. And if I don't correct it, I think it's not the right thing. We don't go into leadership because we want to feed our kids.
Yes.
I mean, we go into leadership because it's a calling. I mean, if you have a calling to go into leadership, you go for it. Some people have actually left their very plum jobs in the first war, and they've gone actually to go fight it out in the streets like Kibera, and be leaders because they want to serve the people. I mean,
look at somebody like Kidero.
Yeah.
You're talking of a CEO of a sugar company. I can guarantee you, the guy, that money that guy takes home, maybe is how much maybe the 2 or 3 of us make here. But guess what? He went there because he wanted to serve the people of Kenya. Now, I remember very well when Oburu went ahead and said, hey, are you guys trying to tell me it is a felony for me to be associated with the Prime Minister? But that's not the issue here. The issue here is, do you go ahead and brand yourself as a political bandwagon because of my brother who is running and I'm going to be a wagon behind him, or do I identify with myself with the policies and what the ideologies that my party stand for and what Kenyans want? Mr. Carlson, I've got a quick question for you. Now, we've had the primaries in the U.S. You've seen how things have been done. You're a resident of Minnesota. And I think, if I'm not wrong, you guys can help me out. I think during our last elections, we had some particular issues with some senators who are running here and they've also to be recounted again. Now, from an American perspective, what would you expect to see, or what would be your assumption as far as these primaries are being held back in Kenya? Or do you expect that, hey, you know what? Hey, I'm sorry, my brother, people didn't elect you, we're going to go as it is. Because right now what we're experiencing is, we have this prime minister, we have his brother, but since things didn't work out to the brother's expectations, they have to go and sit in this board meeting and try to resolve issues rather than having the residents of that particular county making the call. What would be your perspective as far as an American society is concerned?
Well, 2 things. From the American perspective, there's no problem with people in the same family running and being elected to office as long as they have the merit to do so. The Kennedys, the Bushes, some would argue, but it's definitely based on their qualifications. It's not inherited like a gene. Second, the primaries represent, in 2 ways, Americans uniting around issues, and I guess in any democracy, citizens uniting around issues. First, like in the last election, you had every Republican in the primaries, there was 10 different candidates. A lot of people like Santorum or Newt Gingrich or Mitt Romney. They wanted to choose the best person to represent their party, but the issues for their party. And then once that was over, they chose Romney. Even the people who supported Gingrich got behind Romney because it was those issues were more important to them. Those Republican issues for their party were more important than the Democratic ones. So the primaries in the United States were a very unifying process and very much based around issues. So I would expect that.
Mr. Carlson, I'm sorry for calling your name maybe Shoko, but I'm going to use Carl for right now. In Kenya, I don't think we're there yet. What I mean we're not there yet, in Kenya, the politics is, like, for example, like my brother said here, where he comes from the Garissa County, is more of a clanism politics. I come from a county called Machakos County. It is who carries the eastern part of that particular county. I think there's need for us as Kenyans to get to that platform where we are playing politics based on policy issues, on issues that are affecting the typical person. Because the problem is we vote I think the problem we have with our country is we have not gotten to a point that we vote based on ideologies, based on how we'll get our country from point A to point B. It is all about, like, who is affiliated to me, who comes from a particular clan. So I'm sure we're going to be getting back to you in a few minutes. But for right now, I think we'll maybe transition next to the next issue of the economy. As we all know, the economy is such a big spectrum, and we can analyze this economy from different particular platforms. The most interesting thing, and maybe you guys can help me to try to break this down, is the issue of infrastructure. We have seen the current president, Mwai Kibaki. I think he did a superb job in putting some infrastructure in place. We have the Thika highway. We have the rail that is coming from Syokimau going to Nairobi. I think he did a good job. But particularly on this issue of infrastructure, don't we have a feeling that this thing should be spread out in all parts of Kenya? But I'm a little bit biased. I'm only seeing it being concentrated on the central part of Kenya. But I can reach. I remember when Moi was in office, I used to go to Kabarak, and the roads in Kabarak were too smooth and too good that I used to get. I remember when I was driving to Kabarak at some point, nilikuwa nakuta ng'ombe zimelala kwa lami zikiota jua.
Yeah, because
do you feel that is the wrong misappropriation of resources in our country?
Well, I may disagree with you on that point. Moi built the roads, and the people didn't know what to do with the roads. They still needed help. Because, like I was telling our summit today, that you actually create you create infrastructure. You create so that it can create opportunities for people to think of what to do with the road. So you don't have to have cars first before the roads. You have the roads, and if the people have not bought the cars to use them to ferry stuff to the market, and cows choose to lie on it, so long as they don't destroy the road. So I mean that is fair and square. Okay. So I don't think Moi was wrong to have built a road through those escarpments. Those roads will one day work. They just like the airport. The airport in Eldoret, people thought it was a white elephant, but now it's serving Western Kenya so well. People are not wishing it wasn't there. I mean, I remember the father of Raila Odinga when he was in the Public Accounts Committee in Parliament. He went and said, "This is not a white elephant. This thing is good. It's serving Western Kenya." And how else would we have opened Western Kenya if we didn't have a big international airport as we have in Eldoret now? You realize that for people in Eldoret and those environs to send their produce to Dubai, I mean, it is nearer by 50 minutes. I mean, you arrive to Dubai 50 minutes earlier than when you take off from Nairobi. And then landing and taking off from Eldoret is much easier, especially you, Meadow, you understand, because you do flower business and some of the things that you collect from maybe Eldoret and all that you see. If they come through Dubai, you save much more time. So you realize that most of the things that have been done, we are not actually going to look at. I don't say Kibaki has built a road in Thika, and it should have. That is the face of our country, and Thika road should have been built. And there is also a project that's what is going to be built in Kisumu. Some bypasses are going to be built soon in Kisumu and Mombasa.
We fully agree with you. Yeah. I'm not trying to cut you short here, but I fully agree with you. I see where you're coming from. But I'm sure, when I'm worried, as much as you come from that particular part of the country, and we're looking at this from our diaspora perspective, what would be your take as far as seeing a more diversified infrastructure system being put in place?
Mr. Metho, my contribution to your question is very clear. You know, we are open in Kenya. And I don't actually only expect to see Nairobi to be having good infrastructure. I want to see good infrastructure in Garissa, in Mandera, in Machakos, in Kisumu, and in every part of Kenya. But the problem here is the allocation of resources we have in our country. And let me go back a little bit, Mr. Metho, before I answer that question here. My brother Kerich tried actually to correct me about Jakoyumi Diwo and Oburu Odinga. I didn't mean that they are going for elective posts just because of going to feed their kids. What I meant is that they also need actually to be partakers in developing our country, Kenya. Okay, thank you. Now let me switch to that question of infrastructure. I expect every part of Kenya to have good infrastructure. And when Moi was in power, he actually did a lot of development, especially in Rift Valley. But not much. I've worked in Rift Valley. There are places you can actually say, my goodness, I wish we had roads down there. Look at Moi Teaching Referral Hospital. That hospital did open up health facilities or health services in western part of Kenya. So he did his part. Right now, we want somebody who is accountable, somebody who is going to distribute all these resources to all the parts of Kenya. And that's what we want. And that's what we need right now. When we talk about Thika Road, you know, most people don't really understand how Thika Road came into being. That is a brainchild of Raila Amolo Odinga. And I need actually to be corrected by any Kenyans watching me right now. That is a brainchild of Raila Amolo Odinga. He said that Nairobi should be opened up. We should have bypasses. And that is the only man in Kenya. I'm not really trying to say that I'm castigating Uhuru or any other person. But I'm trying to bring a picture, a very open picture to Kenyans, to see that we need credible leaders to open up Kenya. Like what Raila Odinga did.
I can see we have a court person in the house here. We have court in the house, but I don't think we're going to be tapping in that at this particular minute, but I'm sure we're going to be discussing about that. Now, Bonawasame, there's this issue that we've had about infrastructure. You come from Garissa. You are a diehard of Nadif. From a county perspective, what would be your expectation to see that we have these counties that are going to be set up? For example, if I'm not wrong, I think Garissa is going to be allocated around 4 billion, if I'm not wrong.
6 billion.
6 billion, okay, thank you for correcting me. Now, from a nutshell, you being in diaspora, what would you expect? Because, for example, some of us are going to be traveling in Kenya, but I wanted to visit Garissa during the election time, but I was told in Garissa, the only way I can get in Garissa is maybe through a helicopter or through a bus. Now, Garissa, to me, it looks to be a hub of the northeastern
Province.
board, or the northeastern province.
Where is the international airport in the northeastern?
We have a military airport.
But
Where is that?
is it Cielo or
No, Wajir.
Wajir? We have an international airport.
But Garissa, to me, looks to be more strategic because anything that I hear going in northeastern that is big time or big shot, it looks like it's playing in Garissa. What would be expectation from a diaspora perspective about Garissa, that when you come and meet me out here in Washington, D.C., you can tell me, hey, you know what? Garissa is the place to be. And I'll be asking you why. Because one, we have an international airport. You can fly in and fly out of Garissa. Secondly, the security level is so high. Thirdly, we have a governor that has done 1, 2, 3. What is your take as far as being able to see like Garissa County gets to that particular platform?
Mr. Metho, thank you for asking me that question. First of all, that question you should direct to the governor, people who are running for the office. I'm not running for any office. And that will be a good question for them to answer, because they are the ones who are running for office.
Well, I've seen you campaigning for him,
No,
though.
I have not started campaigning for anybody yet. I'm very independent on my choosing. And I believe whoever who is best for the Garissa County should deliver to the people's promise. This constitution we have, I'm glad to have this new constitution which the governors will govern their own county without the influence of coming from somebody coming a PC, coming from Rift Valley, coming to be a PC in Garissa. I think that era of Moi is anti-Batman.
Hold on. So are you trying to? Do you think that this issue of having a PC from
It was
XYZ?
that was a disaster. It was a travesty in one some of
So
our
do you feel like that is one of the issues that made this particular area?
Not only that, there's a lot of things that
bro.
contribute. MPs are not accountable for their county. Like you see.
What do you mean MPs are not accountable? We have the CDFs. The people who control the CDFs in that particular county.
The CDF is being controlled by families, from the family of the MP.
I think this must be a northeastern issue because I've not seen this in my county. But go ahead.
You're right to say so because most of the CDFs have actually handled by either the very close supporters of the same MP.
Exactly.
And whenever they apportion these CDF to development within the areas of the area they represent.
We have an MP.
I mean, they are lopsided.
Our MP is Duale, Adam Duale. This
Who's
is spokesman
MP?
for URP. You see, this is the
Adam
guy.
Duale?
Yes,
Okay.
Adam Duale.
Yes.
This is the guy who was be a spokesman for URP. I thought that he was running in Bomet or in
what? Oh, no. Are you serious? I'm sorry, guys. It is my hope that you're getting in Kenya listening to this because
every time
this is unbelievable, guys.
Is in that area. That guy, a lot of insecurity was happening in his constituency. And what did he choose? He chose to be with the Ruto all the time.
Just like another guy called Kutunyi. Whenever he talks, you would always imagine that he's a member of parliament for William Ruto.
Exactly.
And not Cherangan.
Exactly.
So every other time he would be
I admire leaders like Peter Kenneth
and
who did a lot of
defending
things for Katanga.
Yeah.
I should give a credit where it is due. You see, and I should borrow. Why am I pointing Peter Kenneth? Peter Kenneth is not related to me, but when
Do you support him?
Yeah,
Do you support him?
As a right now,
Yes.
as a president, no, I'm not supporting him.
Who do you support then?
I'm independent.
No. You know what? There's one thing that we have to agree on, guys. Let's go ahead and call a spade a spade. Not a big spoon here.
Issue, first of all.
No,
that's
but no.
the sensitive area where you ask.
You just brought up a very dynamic issue here. Guys, as much as we might say we're in diaspora, I think the time has come for us to go ahead and identify ourselves with who we are. Independent, I fully respect that. That's all right. But my beloved brother here going ahead and pointing at me and telling me that, hey, he believes in Peter Kenneth ideologies, but he does not support him, I think he needs to go ahead and set the record straight for us.
I believe Peter Kenneth is not ready to be president.
I mean, this is not his time. This is not his time.
That is not his time. He doesn't have what it takes to be a president of Kenya.
He doesn't have what it takes to be president?
Yes.
His time is not right.
He's not mature right now to be the president of Kenya.
Okay.
What do you guys mean? What do you guys mean that his
right
time is
now,
not right?
this time, you see, if I see right now where the race is going, I think it's going to be two-man race between Uhuru and Raila Odinga. And
so out of those two people that he just mentioned, who do you think is going to be the guy to...
I think I will go for
To be the
Uhuru.
man of
I
the
will
hill.
go for the Raila Odinga.
Did he just say Uhuru?
No, I will go for Raila Odinga.
And why is that?
It's not that I like Raila Odinga. He's less evil than Uhuru.
Oh my goodness. Guys, are we listening to this? It's less evil. Are we talking about...
If we elect Uhuru Kenyatta and Mr. Ruto, that will jeopardize my security. It will jeopardize the economic sanctions that Kenya will face. And a lot of things will be going skyrocket.
Already the first one they have sent failures. They have said they are going to reconsider the relationship between Kenya.
So I love my country more than Uhuru.
No, Banakirich and Banawasame, I think we are getting out of topic here, guys. I think Banawasame just getting back on board here. We were talking about devolution in Garissa County. What do you expect us to see? Now, on the issue of getting the Uhuru business and the Raila, we're going to be getting in that in a few minutes. I know that is hot. I know you guys are hot. I know we have the light under your seats. But we'll get that in a few seconds here.
I need...
what is your take as far as seeing Garissa County being able to sustain itself?
Yes, we should hold leaders accountable, especially this county governance which is coming right now.
By the way, Mr. Orsame, if I can ask you, what is the mainstay of Garissa County?
Livestock.
What else?
Those people are pastoralists.
So if what do you think would actually be done in Garissa?
Setting meat commission, a meat factory will be the best thing. And one of the platform of those people, manifesto, who are running on those who are campaigning to set make factories. One of them is Nadif Jama, a very influential guy. Guy who has...
Who is Nadif Jama?
Nadif Jama is a guy who brought this...
What is he running for?
He's running for governor in Garissa County.
Is that the bank guy?
Yeah, that's the guy. Yeah,
okay,
that's the
okay.
guy who created this, the FCB bank, the first community bank. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the first community bank. He created. That's a huge financial. It's like Wall Street in Kenya. And right now, that guy has proved that he can create something and run on his record. He created employment. That's one thing. To create an employment like 1,500 people is not a job. And you need to put that kind of person in power so that he can create even 10, 20,000 jobs. And he's running on that kind of platform that, look, he did a lot of development in his country.
Is that the guy of Islamic Bank?
Yes, yeah, that's the guy of Islamic Bank. And I believe he has the best shot. That guy comes from a poor family.
And he operates from Italy?
No. No, he doesn't operate in Isli. I know a lot of people, you guys, Isli is on your mind when you see a Somali comes in your mind, the first thing is Isli.
No, we don't.
Isli is an entrepreneur. If you are against people who are creating jobs, I don't know. Maybe you're a job killer person.
Where is the headquarters of that? Where was it actually born? The Islamic Bank. The Islamic Bank. Where was it born?
The Islamic Bank is born, I think, mostly in... he brought that system from Dubai and all these Arab countries.
Brought it in Garissa?
Yeah, in Kenya, in Nairobi. He started in Nairobi and he went up to Central Bank. He went to a normal process, any other banks like Equity. He went the same channel, it's been approved. And Nadif was in the magazine, one of the top entrepreneurs. He went even to visit the State House with Kibaki and being given approval there.
Wow. Thank you very much.
He's such kind of a leader, charismatic leader.
Where can you likely find the market for meat?
That was in his manifesto, and he should be...
So does he already have his manifesto out?
Yes.
How can we access his manifesto?
You can go to his website.
What's the website? www.
Nadif Jama for governor.
No, is it the F4R?
I'm not sure, but I think he has his manifesto there.
So, but it's my assumption if I Google up Nadif Jama manifesto, I should be able to see something about it. Okay. Wow, very good. Well, I really appreciate you sharing with us about the Garissa County perspective. Mr. Carlson, for right now, you're going to allow us just to, because I don't think on this particular issue that allows us maybe to jump to Mr. Kirich here. And let us go ahead talk about current events. I think we discussed about the nomination issue. Now, the issue here that we're going to be touching on is very tricky and very sensitive. The IEBC, Independent Electoral Boundary Commission. Now, this is the same commission that we've seen in the U.S. for the last 1.5 years, transversing all over the country, saying, yes, we will make sure you guys in diaspora vote. But guess what happened? I think 2 or 3 months ago, they went ahead and said, you know what, guys? This is a progressive event or a progressive issue, and right now we don't have the capacity to go ahead and get the US to vote. Do you guys have a feeling like this thing is being handled by some political bigwigs on the background because they have a problem dealing with diaspora? Do they feel like diaspora will jeopardize them getting in office? And with my discussion, I'd like to go ahead and bring in the issue of the court and the jubilee and the issue about also the statements that are being brought on the table. I remember at some point I heard one of the presidential candidates saying that he has the audacity and the capacity of ruling Kenya from The Hague. Yeah. And then, additional to that, we had actually that was a running mate. To be precise, we had a presidential candidate who said that he was influenced by the devil to sign some papers. Now IBC was on the platform, on the aspect of getting diaspora to vote. Up to this particular point, that all of a sudden they say, no, diaspora who can vote is only East Africa. Guys, East Africa, we're talking of less maybe 2,000 to 3,000 Kenyans. 2,000. Guys, do we have a feeling that we have some powers or some devils in the background that are pulling the strings for us. But Akirich, what is your take?
It is so unfortunate for us who have been in the first world for some time. Things move very fast here, and whenever something is done, it comes out so fast and it's effective because people are not corruptible and people are willing to do things, and sometimes they even volunteer and they do it to the best of their ability. But unfortunately, the situation as it is in Kenya is like, first we need resources. We don't have enough resources to do certain things. Sometimes I tend to agree with the IEBC for not allowing us to vote because, I mean, it takes a lot of time, resources, and all manner of things that you can think of to establish a system where
but I will interject with you on that, though, guys. And you guys, as we say, you're open to interject. Courage. These guys, they were in the US, to be precise. I remember seeing Bwana Hassan. He came to Minnesota once. We saw people coming from his commission. We saw people like the late Mary Onyango being here, a personal friend who we hold dearly, talking about how diaspora will participate in the next elections. It looks like things were already in place, but somebody went ahead and said, what? We need to shut this door.
Anyway, there's so much water that has gone under the bridge. I think even if we can't keep on winding now because it's too late. We have to make a statement, and that is what we are doing right now. But I think in the next election or any next by-election, we should actually be able to vote in the diaspora. I know I was even asking some IT specialists how we could actually possibly vote on the internet, because if we vote on the internet, we are not corruptible here. Maybe it would be very difficult for people to vote on the internet back home. But here, if we can send money through internet, which one can easily be stolen? The vote or the money, if you are given a choice. There's a vote here and there's some money here. Would you take the vote or the money? We send money through the internet, through paper, through what? All these are so secure. So why can we even not vote if we can send money all over the world through the same system? There must be a way.
But Omar, what is your take on this voting issue? Because this is something that is so sensitive, and I have a strong feeling that these guys who are running for office, they feel intimidated by the diaspora community. What is your take?
I was watching one of our sister stations who are trying to give views about Kenyans in the diaspora. I'm talking of Mr. Chris Wamalwa. He did a nice job of highlighting how the people from diaspora actually feeling about this issue of voting. Even me, I'm traumatized. I'm really mad about this particular issue here. We were supposed to be given a say in our government. What we are remitting to Kenya is more than what they were trying actually to tell us, that they don't have resources. And as a mathematician, it's very easy for me to tell people that even 10 million or 20 million Kenyan shillings could actually be enough to get all the diaspora votes. That is very true. Because we needed like 5 gentlemen or five ladies to come to the US and go around all these states. It's cheap, it's not all that very expensive. And we could, the way my brother here, Kerich, is trying to say, we could vote, we could register all of us and reaching the time of voting because we have a database. If it's difficult, we could just send the mails and say, I'm for who?
No,
for
don't worry. I'll interject a little bit. You're saying we have a database. Where is the database? Because I remember, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not wrong, when Hassan, he was on K24 with Jeff Koinange, and he asked Jeff Koinange, you guys, you keep on saying in the diaspora we have 3 or 4 million. Can you give me a database of where it shows we have this amount of people? So I think there's need for the diaspora community to go ahead and come up with an actual tally and tell IBC, Kenyan government, foreign affairs, these are the people that we have in diaspora. The problem is I feel like the people in diaspora has not been accounted for, and this issue of people having papers or people being here legally or not illegally, I think there's need for Kenyans to go ahead and stand and say, you know what, I am here for my country. It is all about the voting issue. I need to be counted as a voter. And unless that is done, then we'll be able to hold IBC accountable. Because right now, it looks like IBC is playing under the games of You guys, can you tell us how many people
Let me
you are out there?
interject you,
Yes,
Mr. Meto,
yes.
since
And this
you
is the last.
didn't-
And
Yeah.
unfortunately, time is not, it's not on our side, so we'll take our last question from Mr. Carlson here. Go ahead.
It's very interesting, IBC, Mr. Hassan. One of the things I'm really afraid of this country is how Mr. Hassan is very incompetent about this issue of election things and all this. I can still see that there's some signs of loopholes which is coming in through the IBC. You remember this man, if you have been reading the newspaper, his own constituency been registering double. And I was surprised. If his own constituency are registering double, and it was in the newspaper, and he could not do anything. I'm afraid of this election.
It so happens like the county that actually didn't do a good election.
Yeah.
And you are a peace router.
Yeah. And what scares me also is Mr. Hassan said that we can verify through SMS. Please, can you tell me how many patrollists who are in the bush don't know how to use the SMS to confirm that if they've registered twice or if to confirm it?
So, hold on. What do you mean he said you can confirm through SMS?
He said that if you register twice, we will send you. You can send you through SMS. So that I was very shocked about it.
Hold on. When I was saying, where do you get this information from? Because this is ridiculous.
They were confirmed through SMS. It was in the newspaper, right? Yeah. So this is not something secret. I'm saying Mr. Hassan will be the bad person to hold these things. Exactly. He has already shown me some loopholes already. And I'm very, very, very scared about this issue of IBC, this independent commission, going forward, or being successful or fair and free. I don't believe this will happen. And this is a warning shot you send us through the air. I think we should wake up and hold him accountable.
Well, Summit, thank you very much. Guys, unfortunately, with the look of the clock, looks like we've come to the end of our show this evening. We'll definitely go ahead and take a break. Yes.